Hello, everybody. There's some crazy shit going on in the world right now. As you kind of would have to be like under a rock to not notice, or like asleep for the past month or something like that. Hey guys, hey Ellen, hey Lori, hi everybody joining on. So I wanted to come and have a chat, in case this is a contribution to anybody. In the United States, Donald Trump just announced, not that long ago, an hour or so ago, that all flights from Europe will be closed, not allowed to come in. Some version of that, there's ins and outs, so I don't want to spread crazy. Hi, Sandy. But anyway, you get the picture. There's hype. There's a lot of hype right now. There's a lot of fear right now. And Trump announced that, flights wouldn't be coming in from Europe for 30 days. And, there's all these economic things going on and people freaking out about that and freaking out about their health. And I just wanted to have a chat about it because, this is really, to me, a time where we really have a choice. Everybody, it's like the choice that we have to freak out or not freak out is very much, hey, Lauren, it's very much right here, and what's happening in the world is, it's so interesting to me because if you look at the statistics of what's going on with the coronavirus, it's like there's a very small percentage of people that die from it. And actually probably an even smaller percent because a lot of people probably get it and don't get tested. So there's all these facts, right? And it's interesting because, most of the world is a lot of the world, there sort of seems to be sort of like two factions of people, some that are buying into it and freaking out, and those that find the whole thing funny. The thing is that one of the things that I love about the tools of Access Consciousness, and one of the kind of, basic conversations in a way, that just keeps on giving, is the acknowledgement that we actually are far more aware than we give ourselves credit for. So we're always, picking up on the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of everybody around us, and way more than we realize. And even when you know that that's kind of how you roll or what you do or whatever, and you have the tool, who does this belong to, is a great tool. It's a great question to ask when you start noticing that you're, getting freaked out or whatever. Even when you have that tool and when I'm really aware, I'm picking up on everybody's stuff, it's still, when the volume is basically getting like ratcheted up more and more every day, all day long. Today has been quite the day of just all these different things and all these different announcements, and Italy's closed and now you can't come to the US and all these things. And so the general tone and the hype around this and the fear of what's going on with this virus is it's like escalating exponentially every day. And so this is where, it kind of, when things get really loud, it actually becomes even more sort of difficult in a way to kind of maintain your space and go, oh, that's not actually relevant for me. That's not true and real for me, or just even check in, And one of the things that we talk about in this amazing body of work, Access Consciousness, is knowing that that's one of the like kind of taglines or whatever it's way more than a tagline, but it's I don't know what to call it. It's not like a mission statement, but it's just this, one of the targets, I guess I'll say, of Access Consciousness is empowering people to know that they know. And it's not even to know what you know, it's to know that you know. And yes, of course, what do you know? but to know that, and what happens is when the hype starts to spin and the general kind of consensus in the world is, oh shit, we all need to freak out and we all need to like run for cover and quarantine ourselves and hold ourselves up and, hold on, buy lots of toilet paper, all these things. Then being present with actually what and knowing that is, again, one of those things that's a little or a lot more challenging, because there's so many messages now trying to get us to buy into this whole fear thing. Still no toilet paper. Lauren's in Australia. Yeah, so, paper towels, Kleenex. I mean, that's so funny. It's like as things like exponentially kind of like ratchet up and more, and there's more fear and there's no hype. And now Tom Hanks has it and he's there. Better get out. That's so funny. But we it's like to be present with ourselves and to be present with what's true for us, and to be in that question of, wait, who does this belong to? Is this fear that I'm aware of? Is it just fear that I'm aware of? Is it actually mine? Or am I aware of a lot of fear in the world? Am I aware of a lot of anxiety in the world? Am I aware of everybody thinking they're going to die, And because as things around you are loud and getting louder, there's this like cacophony of insanity that's getting turned up every single day. As that goes on, it's like the noise in the field in a way gets so loud and literally cacophonous that to be present with you and what it is that it just gets more challenging. And so this is where we have to really, really be a lot more present with ourselves and be a lot more present with what's actually true. And so some tools for you all. Some of you know them. Maybe it's a reminder, and feel free to spread this around because I really wanted to, give something that people can actually use here. So some tools are to ask, okay, so who does this belong to? Is this mine? Am I aware of fear? Am I aware of anxiety? Am I aware of hysteria? Am I aware of people freaking out about their economic situation? Or is it actually mine? Am I actually afraid? Am I actually in hype? Am I actually anxious? Am I freaking out about my health, my economic situation, the situation of the world? All this stuff. Because even the big crash with the stock market, like that is all emotional. It is all driven by people's points of view. And when you get that, you can really create a different reality for yourself with it. And so ask, is it mine? Who does this belong to? And what happens is when you ask that question, like if it's not actually yours and you're just actually aware, you could also just ask, what am I perceiving or what am I aware of right now? And just, it's not about getting an answer, but just letting the energy kind of bubble up. What happens is you will, if there's a lightening up in your world, like if you go, oh, okay, there I am, you feel like there's a little bit of lightness, then that means that it's not actually yours. And it kind of like dissipates the insanity, the cacophony of the insanity, and allows you to have more of this sense of the space of you and what's actually true for you. Because part of what I will talk about in a little bit is there's a way we can actually be creating with what's going on right now, which probably seems insane, but we can, and I'll get there in a moment. But I want to address that first, So who does it belong to? Is it mine? What am I aware of? What am I perceiving? Another tool that I absolutely love, I would not want to live without, is interesting point of view. So that's one of the 10 keys to freedom and access consciousness. When you say to yourself, interesting point of view, I have this point of view, or you say interesting point of view, they have this point of view, It's basically an acknowledgement that everything is just a point of view. So if somebody's like, I'm going to die, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to, be broke or whatever, that's just a point of view. You're not dead, you're not sick, you're not broke yet, it's just a point of view. So when you acknowledge it as a point of view, because what happens is our points of views, they create our reality. So if you're like, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to die, and there's scientific evidence of this, that you could look in a lot of different areas of science, but even just that, like, our chemistry and our bodies actually are highly influenced by our emotional states. That movie from years ago, What the Bleep Do We Know? That was such a great movie because it really shows you exactly how it works. When you have a thought, you have a feeling, how it transmits and translates into your biochemical reality in your body. So if you're running around freaking out about, oh my God, I'm going to get sick, I can't touch anything, I can't be out in public, if somebody sneezes, I'm going to freak out, all these things, it's like you're creating this environment in your body energetically and also chemically, literally, that is more of an environment for illness and all of those kinds of things. So how do you handle that? Because these can be these sort of like obsessive and repetitive thoughts that we have, So what do you do with it? Well, this tool, interesting point of view, I have this point of view, is amazing if you allow it to work. It's designed to actually create more space, more presence, more ease, and also give you more of you and give you access to what's actually true for you, what's real for you, what and to actually relax you, and the thing is that, guess what? Like, we really do have the possibility to be relaxed during this time. We have the possibility to not actually be affected by this. We can be in reaction to what's going on in the world, or we can be in action, creating a different world and a different reality. And one of the things that I see with what's going on right now is this is a real sort of kind of crux point in the world, because right now, if you're going to keep following along with the rest of the world in how things are done and what's, like believing the masses, being part of the masses and believing what the governments tell us and all this stuff, if you're going to be, to continue to move with everybody else, then you will get swept up in this tide, of fear and hype and anxiety and desperation and like what I'm calling like the quarantine reality, Melanie, so funny. And so this like quarantine reality where everybody just separates from everybody else, and I'm just going to hide up in my home and just not touch anybody or anything and hope that it's okay, But the thing is like, who wants to live like that, And the masses are saying, well, just live like that until it passes. But you know what? I don't want to live like that sometimes I love being by myself, that's cool. But is that actually how you desire to live your life? And I can't tell you how much, this is really, a story for another time, but there's so many in-depth conversations that we could have about how your point of view creates your reality. And I won't, it's more of an advanced conversation than for a Facebook Live. So, if you want more, there's lots of classes and all that kind of stuff going on. But because it really is, it's a very deep and wide, beautiful conversation about how you can actually create your reality. Now let's talk about that. Because there's these tools for, handling the insanity, the anxiety, all that stuff. Interesting point of view. Who does this belong to? Is it mine? All that stuff. Now, and if you have never heard one of these tools or these conversations, check out accessconsciousness.com. There's a book called The 10 Keys to Total Freedom. It's a fabulous book. It would be like a handbook, during this time. Because it really gives you these actual like tools that that are super pragmatic to create your reality. And so 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 now how do we create with this? And that might seem insane, but the first step in actually, because the thing is that, nothing is predictable. And, this world is organized around predictable reality. So the whole world is organized around, let's control potential outcomes, which is exactly what's going on right now. Let's control all these outcomes. Let's just not allow the entirety of Europe to come to the United States, so that we can just control, this virus from spreading. Well, good luck. It's going to spread, and, some people are going to die, and I'm not belittling that or making fun of that or whatever, but, the death rate is very, very, it's probably a lot smaller than they're saying that it is, because again, very few people are actually getting tested. You probably don't get tested until you're very sick. And it's actually, from what I've read, it's less common than the common flu. There's so much, it's insane, the hype that's happening right now. So now you may not be worried about, you may not be worried about your health. Or maybe you are, or you may be like, well, I'm not going to get it, or if I do, it'll be fine. I'll get over it. You might be worried about your financial situation. I had a conversation with somebody about that yesterday, where it was like, oh God, like the economy is tanking and da 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 da. And the thing is that, again, if you buy into that reality, you are lock, stock, and barrel right there. You are in that reality. You are hooked in. You are locked in, and that becomes your point of view. You align and agree with that point of view that the rest of the world has, or you resist it and react to it, which is the same as aligning and agreeing with it. You contribute to that being more of a reality, and you make it more solid and real. So what would you like to choose? What would you like to do with this? How would you like to create with it? And this is one of the things that I absolutely love about Access Consciousness and the tools of Joy of Business, is that we get to actually, because if you don't have a point of view about anything, which is a bit of a tall order, but definitely if you use the tool interesting point of view, you can eventually, it might take a few years, but you might, if you use it for every thought, feeling, and emotion you have, and you're committed to that tool and to being the space of not having judgments, not having points of view about anything, you will eventually get to a space where you don't have a point of view. And, could be lifetimes, could be years, whatever. I've been using it every single day. About a little over 2 years ago, I committed to using this tool every day. And the ease that it has created in my life is absolutely profound. I'm so grateful. This is like the one tool I wouldn't want to live without. And I don't really this whole Corona thing it's not really affecting me. Like I'm just like, okay, this is all interesting, because it's all just interesting. It's like, okay, so the world is kind of imploding on itself. Now, what would I like to choose? What would you like to choose? Would you like to choose to implode with the world? Or perhaps it's time for all of us to step it up. Perhaps it's time to start actually trusting ourselves, trusting what it is that we know, trusting our awareness, and actually allowing that to be this guiding energy, and the guiding thing that we function from in our lives. Because really the only alternative to, I see it as there's sort of two very distinct choices right now. One is to buy into the craziness of the world and to buy into, all of the insanity that exists and all of this hype and the financial markets and the travel and everything's going to shut down and we're going to go into a worldwide depression and everybody's going to die, So, okay, would you like to buy into that? Because you can. Sure, no problem. Go for it. Or, the alternative is actually creating a completely different world. And a huge part of that is knowing that So trusting your awareness, trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, whatever you want to call it, trusting your awareness that you know something. And we say, what's true for you makes you feel lighter, and what's a lie for what is a lie for you, makes you feel heavy. And the heaviness around this disease and all the craziness is, to me, an indication, whoa, there's a lot of lies. I feel heavy whenever I hear this kind of stuff, because it is, for me, a lie. A lot of it is a lie. I'm not interested in buying into it. And I'm also not interested in giving it any energy, in terms of feeding it with my energy, feeding it with my points of view, feeding it by going into the fear. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is creating a completely different reality on the planet where we actually get to have joy no matter what. We get to have happiness no matter what. We have amazing energetic tools to change our bodies at any moment. We can create whatever we would like to create in our businesses and our lives with, there's this reality of choice and creation, and having a thriving and dynamically alive planet Earth that we get to be part of. And to me, we are at a choice point right now where we can choose to begin to create that reality, or create it even more if you already have been. Or we can choose to be in this fear, this like cacophonous insanity, fear reality that is sort of eating itself alive right now. And for me, I'm very clear. I'm not interested in being on planet Earth and surviving, being in quarantine so that I can protect my body and my family. And, I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is actually the beauty of nature and the beauty of the planet, and enjoying this entire planet. I love to travel. I love to be all over the world. I love to see different cultures and cities and places and natural beauty, and meet people all over the world, and connect with people all over the world, and contribute to people all over the world. That's what I would like to create as my life, and I am creating that as my life. But I don't do it by resisting this reality, this reality of fear and hype and all of that stuff. I don't do it by resisting it. I don't do it by trying to fight against it. I don't do it by trying to go, hey, everybody who's freaking out, hey, guess what? You don't have to freak out, It's because trying to fight it doesn't work. It's not going to get us anywhere. And trying to fight, and that's exactly what's happening with, closing the United States, closing Italy, all this stuff is this fight, but the energy of that is so destructive to our bodies, to our culture, it's destructive to our world. It's destructive to kindness. It is destructive to the economy and all of that. So what is it that you actually wish to create? What kind of a life would you like to have? What kind of a world would you like to live in? And to me, if there was ever a time for us to begin to choose something really different and to step into something really different, it is now. It now is the time. And if you've ever had a sense of, God, that's kind of crazy what's going on with this corona thing right now, or gosh, I'd like to be part of, I'd like to see the earth be more alive, be more happy, be more vibrant. I'd like to see all of us be more alive, be more happy, be more vibrant. Then the only thing that you have to do right now is actually choose that. And now that's a whole also very big, deep and wide, wonderful conversation about choice, and how choice is actually all we require. And most people aren't willing to have that much power and potency to go, you know what, I choose to create what I choose to create, But if you've ever wondered about this, take 5 more steps in the direction of that right now. Because maybe you've been waiting around to get the courage up to, choose something different. Or maybe you've been, kind of just hoping things would change or whatever. But clearly, It's not going to unless we all step up and step into something different. And the creation of a reality of joy, of happiness, of health, of thriving bodies, of thriving economic situations, no matter what, like of thriving businesses, of thriving planet Earth, like the creation of that, it is up to us. And it's not, again, about the fight of this world of this cacophony of insanity. It's about the creation of something new and different. And anytime that you buy into the fear, the hype, the worry, the, oh my God, what's going to happen in the future, any moment that you buy into that and you make it yours, you feed that, which is why you go, okay, interesting point of view. I have this point of view. If you're just joining us, that's a tool from Access Consciousness, one of the 10 keys to total freedom. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. And if you really allow the tool to work and you really choose to allow it to work, it actually creates space in your world. Now from there, you can go into the question of, okay, cool. So if this wasn't a necessity, if like death, destruction, illness, degradation, if that wasn't a necessity, what could I actually choose and create right now? What's actually true for me? What do I desire right now to see as the world, to have as the world? What is the world that I desire to live in right now? Right now. Let's not wait for the coronavirus to pass. Let's not wait for the borders to open up again. What is the world that you desire to create right now? And let me tell you something, guys. You choosing that for you is one of the most dynamic and powerful ways that you can substantiate that as a reality for all of us. It's not about, trying to like get everybody else to change, this is like each one of us has to choose something different and greater right now based on what we know. Not the fear, not the hype, not the, oh my God, my business is going to die, my body is going to get sick, blah, 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 No, you need to choose what's true for you right now. So what can you add to your life? I love this question from Access Consciousness. What can you add to your life today to create something different right away, to have more joy right away, to create more ease with your body right away, to create more ease with your business right away? What can you add to your life? Because in any situation is a possibility if you're willing for it to be a possibility. And one of the questions I love is, if this was not a problem, what would the possibility be here? If this wasn't a problem, what would the possibility be? So dare we ask that about the coronavirus? Okay, if the coronavirus was not a problem, what would the possibility be? And I've been asking that a lot and looking at it and going, wow, like fear and insanity is certainly getting kind of a bad rap, like it's turning itself up, and we all get to see how crazy people are being right now. And some people are just being crazy and they don't know it, but we all get to see what this creates and how absolutely insane things are becoming simply from this contagious fear that is going on in the world that's not even really substantiated. It's not actually really valid in a way, but people are spinning and spinning more and spinning more, and then other people are spinning and they're spinning other people. And it's the epidemic right now, the pandemic, whatever the hell you want to call it, is actually fear. That's the problem, if you want to have a problem, that's the problem. I don't choose to see anything as a problem. So I go, okay, if none of this was a problem, what would the possibility be here? And I see, wow, like anybody who's been sitting on the fence waiting to create something different, now's the time. What kindness can you be with your body? What joy can you choose? And there's so much research around, when you're happy, when you're joyful, when you're caring for your body, when you're nurturing your body, when you're nurturing your life, like, you're going to have better health. You're just going to have better health. So even just the biology of that is going to swing things in your favor. Joy boosts our immune system. Orgasms boost our immune system. Have more sex, masturbate more if you don't have somebody to have sex with. Like, truly go out and be in nature. Do what you need to do to create a sense of joy and ease and happiness and aliveness in your world, no matter what. And you can, another tool from Access Consciousness that you can use that I love, I use it every single day, is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. So this is a tool that, say it 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, say it all day long. It's a beautiful mantra that you can use that is the acknowledgement of what is actually true for so many of us, which is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And when we say all of life, that means everything. So even if you did get sick, it's like, well, that can come with ease and joy and glory too. No matter what happens, it comes with ease and joy and glory. And when you make that your world and you make that your mantra, there's nothing actually that can upset you. There's nothing that can knock you down. There's nothing that doesn't have ease to it. Glory is this exuberant expression of an abundance of life and living. So everything has that energy. And it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You get to choose to have ease and joy and glory. And the more you choose that, the more it actually becomes your reality. So that's another amazing tool. And then asking also, we work so much with questions and Access Consciousness. And anytime you ask a question, you're actually going to invite new awareness, new possibilities. Asking the question, what can I create with this? So it's along the lines of this: if this wasn't a problem, what would the possibility be? What can I be to create with this? And what can I create with this? So how can we all use this to our advantage? And that's not, I ask that question not from a self-serving, using it to your advantage is not about being self-serving, but actually using it to all of our advantage to create a different reality on the planet, to, create more abundance from it, to create more healthy bodies and thriving from it. Like, truly, what is actually possible from this that we haven't even considered because we've been so busy with the hype and the cacophony of fear. So how can we use it to our advantage? What can we create with it? What is possible here that we've never considered? So these are all questions that you can write this down. This Facebook Live will be, available for replay and stuff. So you can rewind and write down questions. And really stay in the question as much as you can, because right now, as soon as you sort of go out of the space of you, the ease of you, the lightness of you, the joy of asking questions, into the conclusionary reality, the points of view of, everybody's going to die, everybody's going to suffer, everybody's going to lose money, blah, 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 blah. As soon as you go into that reality is so loud and so strong that it can sweep you up. It can really sweep you up. And so let's just choose to not go there, and you have to really create this, you have to create the environment in your own world, inner and outer, to have the ease that is actually available with this whole thing. There is ease that is available with it. There are possibilities here. There's possibilities for your body. There's possibilities for all of us to live together on the planet in a different way. There's possibilities for the earth. There's possibilities for your economic situation. There are possibilities in everything, and it just takes a change in your point of view and your willingness to be curious about what they are, to actually where you can actually begin to have access to them. So I've given you a lot of tools here. There are so many more. And, but, again, you can rewind, write stuff down. A couple websites to check out, accessconsciousness.com. If you've never had your bars run, that's an energetic process where we put hands on the head, and it basically clears a lot of points of view, a lot of stuff that's stuck in our worlds. So that's something that's available. You can find somebody in almost any country in the world who can do that. You can learn how to do it. There's accessconsciousness.com. There's the book 10 Keys to Total Freedom. There's also another amazing book called Being You, Changing the World by Dr. Dane Heer, that is so phenomenal and such a gift for this kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff on my website, heathernichols.com, classes coming up and stuff like that if you'd like more. I actually have a business class coming up next weekend where I'm so excited to really dive into, okay, cool. How do you create business with all of this? Because you can create a totally different business with all this stuff going on that can continue to thrive no matter what. And that's the thing that I love about the tools of access is that it's you're never ever at the effect of anything. When you have these tools in your life, you're never at the effect of anything. You can always be proactive and actually active rather than reactive to what about my book, Summer? How did you know? I just in the past week, I'm like, okay, I'm writing it. So yes, coming soon. But we can be proactive in the creation of a different future. And I'll tell you what, when you are proactive in the creation of a different future, which is a big part of what I've been talking about here, you're on the creative edge of consciousness. You're on the creative edge of the world. You're on the creative edge of business, and you can make a lot of money doing it. You can have a lot of fun doing it. You can have a lot of ease with your body doing it. There's so many different gifts that gives you when you actually begin to create a different future. And the only way that's going to happen, you guys, is if we choose it. And if there was ever a time, it is now. It is now. What you do with your mind every single day makes a huge impact on what happens in the world. Do not underestimate that. And, I was such a terrible meditator. I was like the suckiest meditator until I started doing Kundalini meditation, and I could do that because it was like a multitasking thing. I was doing like 5 million things at once. But when I just had to sit and watch my mind, I hated it. I was so bad at it. I couldn't quiet my mind because for most of us, we have a very active and dynamic mind, and that's not wrong. It's not a bad thing. But so what I love about Access Consciousness is that it gives you tools to actually use it, to play with it, to change it, to harness it, to create with it, rather than think that you have to sit still and just quiet your mind. Because I'll tell you, I could never do that, ever. That was not something I was ever going to accomplish because I am way too ADD, ADHD, OCD to sit still and meditate. But what do you do with your mind? Do you let it run amok? Do you let it join into the fear of reality? Or do you actually go, you know what? Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. What can I create? And the last thing I'll leave you with is that truly, I would say that the greatest antidote to absolutely anything, whether it's a health issue, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's a issue with your family, whether it's a business issue or a money issue or whatever, is to get into creation. Get into true creation of your life and a different future. The best antidote for any problem, quote unquote, that you think you have in your life is to get into creation. And the more you create, the happier you will be. I guarantee it. And sometimes that involves creating a lot more than you think you even have the capacity to create. But it's not about accomplishing stuff. It's about the energy of creation in our lives that feeds and nurtures our bodies, our bank accounts, the earth, our relationships, everything. So, so much here. I mean, there's just so much. And I'm so infinitely grateful for Access Consciousness, because it really has shown me a completely different reality and tools that work, tools that are very, very pragmatic, that work. If you use them, you pick them up and use them, they will change things. And anything that isn't working in your life, anything that isn't working in the world, and it is time for us to come together and create a different world. So thank you so much for listening. I would be so grateful if you were inspired by this video, if you could please share it. Let's get this conversation out in the world. I would like for this to be in the hands of everybody who would like to have it. So please share it. Feel free. It's public. And if you're interested in more from me, you can follow me on this page or my business page, which is Heather Nichols CF like Certified Facilitator for Access Consciousness. That's on Facebook. And heathernichols.com is my website. You can sign up for my newsletter there as well. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being you. Let's create something really different in the world. Let's use all of this to create something really different right now. And I wonder what that can be. Thanks so much, and have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, everybody. I'm very grateful for you, and let's have fun. Bye.